Happy Aloha Friday, gang. Yes, we got the weekend here. Oh my God, I'm happy about that. It's been a long week. And hello, Seal. How you doing? And, oh my God. Are you talking about the thumbnail, Seal? That was actually a picture I took on the day of Robbie's wedding. We were waiting for everyone to come downstairs, and I took a picture down in the middle of Luxor with, yeah, an interesting out. Actually, where is that outfit? I've got that somewhere sitting around here. It was like the one and only time I've ever worn false, okay, fake leather in my life. Okay, other than my leather jackets that I used to wear. But yeah. Now, aloha gang. How are y'all doing? Talking about Robbie. He was first in chat today. Hello, Mr. Robbie. And there is Kay. Aw, we got all the puppies. The puppies are happy. I gave them, Cassie's been waiting on treats all afternoon. She's been getting little tiny ones, but not the one she really likes. So she's now happy. So anyhow, we have hot tea ready to be made. I forgot to put my phone, everything over on live chat. Now I'm on live chat. So now I'm good. I can follow you guys a little better now. So who else we got here? Kate Crochet said hi too. Who else we got here? I know who she goes came in next. Yep, there she be. How you doing, my dear? You ready for the weekend? Oh my God, I'm so freaking ready for a weekend right now. It's just like, please. Okay, something is going on. My comments are not coming through right now for me to highlight. So I'm going to switch over to the other because for some reason, I swear I hate StreamYard when it does these weird things because I know we got some people over there in chat right now because I've been looking at them. Seal is there. That should be popping up in the chat list, but it's not. So hello, Seal, and unknown female. Hey, aloha, my dear, and welcome. Butterfly kisses. How you doing, my dear? And Megan, how you, my dear? Hope you're having a good Friday. Sorry about Wednesday. I ended up in the dentist's office on Wednesday. I have a tooth that was just a little too high. And you know, when you bite down on a tooth that's too, oh my God, it was not good. It was hurting like hell, but the dentist helped. Dentists are good. They're our friends on certain days. So, Princess Megan here, present, accounted for, and Butterfly Kisses is at. Oh gosh, I'm so pissed that I can't highlight messages. Okay, well, Butterfly Kisses is saying one of the most important boundaries I have for online is explaining to people that I'll help them but can't offer money. It takes the stress off a little bit. That's a good one. Dentist, Princess Megan, oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't like dentists. I don't like going to the dentist. I put it off for like a day. I was hurting for 2 days before I finally caved in and called. Let's put it that way. It was at the point one or two of you actually heard me verbally before I actually went to the doctor. And I was at the point I had no choice. I had no choice. It was like dentist or no, I needed the dentist at that point. So the only problem is now I got to go in for a deep cleaning, which I'm really not happy about, but we got to figure out meds first. So you know what it is like. Okay, if you're on any blood thinner, you got to find out, can you go off the blood thinners in time to go get, yeah, anyhow, long story there. So let's see here. We got so this subject actually I came up with this morning. I was trying to come up with an idea. One of the people I've been talking to actually reminded me that this month is actually Depression Awareness Month. Butterfly Kisses, thank you, my dear. Thank you for sharing that over on Discord. I forgot to do that, so thank you. And yeah, I had forgotten completely. Actually, let me turn my volume down a little bit. There you go. In the bushes, how you doing, my dear? And I had forgotten it was Depression Awareness Month. So, guys, it's a great month. There's some really good stuff out there. One of the greatest little Instagram thing. I don't know how many of you guys are on Instagram, but there's a really cute Instagram mental health thing going on about Eeyore. Okay, I don't know how many of you guys watch Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh. oh my God, what the heck is coming out of my mouth? But Winnie the Pooh. And it was talking about Eeyore and how even though Eeyore was in a way dealing with depression, if you think about it, how they included him in everything they were doing and all. It was amazing. I need to download the different screenshots of it and share it out with everyone because it's really been a cute thing to read and it actually says a lot. But what I wanted to talk about was something we've been talking a lot about lately, which is boundaries. A lot of different people and I have been talking about boundaries, a lot of us publicly, privately. Um, I'm like, yeah, I'm dealing with them every day of my life, trying to make sure I got them strong enough because at times we kind of lose those boundaries because guys, the boundaries that we have are not other people's responsibilities. They're ours. They're our responsibility to be on top of and to speak up about. Now, if people don't follow our boundaries, okay, that's only something they can deal with. We deal with how we react to it. And also, as I was looking at boundaries and talking to people about things with boundaries, one thing I keep coming back to over and over is online boundaries. Okay, okay, how many of you guys have find it a little harder to deal with boundaries online, or maybe you find it easier, but you find a difference between online boundaries versus IRL boundaries? Okay, your friends in real life that you go out to and see a movie with, or whatever you do, okay, just in real life, you meet them face to face. You find yourself at a different level when it comes to boundaries with those people than you do, say, your close friends or friends in general here on the internet. Okay, it's something that I found when I came here. I had no boundaries when it came to online stuff. I had zip. I mean, from the get go, I was sharing my name out. I was doing all these, I was just like, I had no boundaries in place. I didn't even think about boundaries having to be in place. It'd be interesting. And let me check if no, still can't pull up your guys' comments. I'm sorry, but I am watching your comments over in the live chat. This goes against your boundaries, Sleuth Mom. Hello, Sleuth Mom. How you doing? Get to work, you. And also, hey, Cristola. Also, hey, Cristola. I know. See, boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. I mean, all they do is make life hell on. No, okay. It depends on the person and the subject for you. That's a good point, Butterfly. Good point. Um, I found at the beginning I really didn't. Okay, it took some of you guys know Phoenix, living like Phoenix. She was my person who reminded me, girl, boundaries are important. Okay, stop being Captain Save-A-Ho. Okay, all these things. Get your boundaries need to be in place the same way you would in your your group of your female friends, male friends, okay, your in real life friends, the same exact thing. Unknown female, one of my boundaries is stepping back if situations get to be too difficult. Yeah, and that's what's great. Oh, Cristola, Captain Save-A-Ho. I mean, I am like, actually, I should be Admiral Save-A-Ho, to be honest. Okay, I'm more like Admiral at that point, but I'm getting there. Maybe I'm down to Captain now. So, um, oh no, here she goes. Your praying depression does not start with your grandson. He's in seventh grade and was pantsed in PE class. Oh no. Oh God, be there for him and support him. I know at that point, all you think about is how life is just what you're dealing with right there. And I'll just make sure. I know he has support. If he has you in his life and all, I'm sure he's got support. But oh, poor guy. AJ, how you doing, my dear DC? Hope you're doing well. And also, yeah, sorry for those of you if I'm not highlighting your comments. For some reason, StreamYard is not updating comments. So, but thank God I have all of my banners. So, yeah, that is, people can get mean. People can get mean, and especially at that age. Seventh grade, that is like, yeah, the worst. None of us would want to go back to those years whatsoever. Um, so before we get going on this, just a couple of reminders. Like I said, first of all, October, Okay, when it comes down to mental health awareness things, it's Depression Awareness Month. So, guys, okay, this is the time to help each other recognize, okay, the signs, the symptoms, let people know that you're there for them. If you're recognizing signs and symptoms on yourself, getting the help that you need. If you find yourself in a place that you need the Suicide or Crisis Lifeline, please contact them at 988. Okay, trying to find, I know a lot of you also have your parents of, or grandparents or whatever, of children who are dealing with a lot of issues. And so it's a good thing for us to kind of help each other and find ways that people can reach out. Because sometimes it's reaching out to each other, sometimes it's reaching out on a professional. And also, um, yep, unknown female, exactly. Stepping away completely from social media when things get upsetting. And that's kind of what we're going to kind of go through here today is setting online boundaries. We always talk, whenever we get into boundaries, we talk about IRL boundaries for some reason. Okay, very seldom do we get into the specific because there are some differences with online versus IRL boundaries. They're still IRL, but still there's some slight differences in them. So, also, if you have anything that you'd like to connect with me, subjects you'd like me to talk about, people you'd like me to talk about for missing people, please email me at thelocalmylife@gmail.com. And also, hey, Robbie's back. Hello, hello, my dear Robbie. Mwah. Love you, my dear. So, let's start with types of online boundaries. So, I asked you guys the pre show question, what are some of the important boundaries you guys have? Thanks to those of you who responded about that. Um, but when it comes down to boundaries online, there's kind of two different types of boundaries. Okay. One type tends to be discussed more than the other. The part that tends to be discussed more often are general actions, general behaviors. Okay, the boundaries you make as to what type of information you're going to share. Okay, is your profile going to be public or is it going to be private? Are you going to share your real name or are you not going to share your real name? Each of us have a different boundary about that, like me. I share my real name. I did not plan on it initially, but I kind of became that at times. Love you, Lone Wolf. Member for 5 months. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. We've got some long-term members, and I'm so happy to see that. Thank you, Lone Wolf. Thank you, my dear. And so are you going to share those things? Are you going to share, okay, your profile? Are you going to batten down the hatches with it? Okay, all of us have a different thing that we use. Okay, some of us are more open, some of us are not. And all of that comes down to what our boundaries are like. Okay, now the other type of boundary is how you interact with people. This is more of what we think about boundaries in real life, but forget about a lot of times when it comes to online. We think about the, oh, yes, my name is this, or I'm not going to let people, I'm not going to be friends with these people, and we forget about the behavior side when it comes to online stuff. So, how you interact and those boundaries tend to be tied to friendships, how close you get to people, how many people you decide you're going to be friends with. Are you going to get involved in drama type things, or are you going to be like, oh, hell no, I'm not, that's not who I am? Your behavior, okay, how am I going to interact with other people? How far will I allow interactions to go with myself? Okay, all those things. That's the other type of okay, boundary. And we're going to talk a little bit about both types of boundaries. Christola is saying, I have a boundary that only a handful of people know my husband and kids' name and they're actual friends. Yeah, exactly. I love you. And an unknown female, especially when you feel the whole weekend. And that's where a lot of what we do and what we talk about here, our boundaries are there to help protect us. We make the decision whether or not we allow things to get at us or how we're going to allow them to get at us. And hey, as Hawkins, love you, my dear. Mwah, love you. Welcome. And so That brings us to what I've kind of addressed a couple times, real life versus online boundaries. Okay, yep. Robbie has that chastity belt, okay? And you know what? I had the key at the night of the wedding, okay? So, no, okay. And no, he just gave no, okay, I'm misbehaving. I'm being a bad girl right now, aren't I? And it's purple and green, though, that's for sure. So, and sorry, I'm losing it good right now. And the dogs are humping each other. Okay, hey, it fits. It fits right now. Would you guys stop it, please? You make me giggle when I look down and see that. And so what are the differences between real life boundaries and online boundaries? Or are there differences? Okay. Should there be a difference between the two? Oh, yes, with the credit card. I had the key in there with the credit card. Exactly. And that's why it was so important. We found that credit. It wasn't the credit card we had to find that night. It was the key. So, yeah. And also, should there be a difference between these boundaries? Because a lot of times, how many of you guys have no problem with boundaries in real life? Okay, you may have a hard time sticking to them, but you know you have to have it. Hey, it's Siren. Hello, Siren. Yes, exactly, exactly. And you know that you have these in real life boundaries and you know what they are and you need to have them. You may have problems sticking to them and all, but you know them. Okay, but you run into these different things. Okay. And then this expect lone wolf, your boundaries are the same for real life and online. And that is perfect. That's what more of us need to be doing is recognizing that our boundaries should be the same. Exactly that. Our boundaries that we have now, there may be few things we have to look at. Yes, Cassie, I know. There may be a couple things we have to be a little bit harder on with yes, and I'm using certain words now. Robbie, it's all your fault. No. Hey, it makes mental health so much more interesting, trust me. And also the expectations of people. For example, when I'm with okay, IRL people, for some reason I seem to okay, not have to work as hard on my boundaries. I don't know if it's because the people I'm around with, okay, it feels like if I tell someone, "Hey, that's please, okay, this is just a boundary I have in place for myself," people seem to be much more receptive to it. When in bingo, Seal just said it. Seal just said it right there. I think you have to set harder boundaries for online, and that's the thing. Online, it seems like we have to be much more focused on those boundaries, not only expecting other people and sticking to it and telling people no, but we have to keep reminding ourselves. We may, for example, one of my biggest things is especially with drama. Okay, I'll tell myself, I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved. And yet I find myself once in a while sliding back and I'm like, girl, come on now. You know what your boundary is for yourself. Okay, you got to hold yourself responsible for those boundaries before you hold anyone else responsible. We tend to be a lot more, I don't want to say wishy washy about boundaries online, but it's just feels different. Okay, crochet. Yes, in real life too, not just on the okay, I have to work hard to keep boundaries. Yeah, and that's one thing. I had problems boundaries from the get-go, to be honest. I had a lot of issues. Um so you run into these things, these expectations of other people. PJ, hello, 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 Miss PJ. Hope you're doing good. Okay, yes, Cassie, you want that. And also, the boundaries become expectations of not only yourself, okay, and your behavior, okay, but also expectations of people that become your friends, people that you get along with, okay, in hopes that they will follow those too. Because after all, if someone is truly a friend, okay, they should be alert, okay, and acknowledge the fact that you have a boundary that you're putting in place. And the boundary is not about attacking someone else, it's about putting in rules for yourself to protect your own emotions, your own frustrations, your own depression, anxiety, things like that. As Hockett is saying right now, I think we have to remember that it's easier to be deceived by someone hiding behind a computer. Exactly. And we're going to get to something at one point where we're going to talk a little later today about time and getting to know someone. I've said for quite a while, and this popped up during my research today, that it tends to take about 6 months. I've told a couple of you guys this. Okay, I give people 6 months for me to really get to know who that person is. Okay, before that, I really don't know who they are. I know who they're letting me know they are, but I really haven't gotten to know them yet. It takes 6 months. Okay, we tend to become friends much quicker online because we're only seeing it's like that Facebook view of people, that happy go lucky view, okay, that everyone looks happy and they're just having the most amazing life and all, and you don't get to see the other side. Or if you do see the other side, it's during all the okay, drama bonding, trauma bonding, hate bonding, whatever it is that we call. Kay is saying keeping boundaries are easy with you, but gotta watch over my mom's shoulder about it. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, no, and that's it for a lot of us. Seal, yeah, you can be anyone you want to behind that screen. And until you really get to know that person behind the screen, even if you've known them for a year, they could still not necessarily be the person that they're portraying themselves to be. Some people are very, very good at faking who they are. Luckily, in about 6 months, you do tend to, yep, so you were the one I talked to about that. After 6 months, you kind of start to see the little signs here or there. And but there are some people, no, you won't. And a lot of us tend to trust, especially on the internet. We're very trusting and about a lot of things. So we're going to start with just one or two things on that first group of boundaries. And then we're going to go into more on the personality side, the person talking to people, things like that. Ah, thanks, Crystal. I try. I try. Not saying I always succeed, but I try. And also, thank you, my dear. So the first one, and where I'm going to start with, guys, is probably the easiest of all of the different rules. Okay. Give yourself permission to have boundaries. Welcome, welcome back, Miss PJ. Welcome back. You want to say, well, Cassie, say hi to Miss PJ. PJ came back to say hi, PJ. Oh, yeah, I know you want the treats. She wants treats. I'm sitting here breaking up treats, and she's very happy. Here she goes. It's true. It's easy to say something, but what they do is different without, and that's exactly, and that's where it comes down to is watching. That's why I watch a lot. Okay, I watch more than I talk a lot of time. I talk a hell of a lot, trust me. But I try to watch more than not because that's when you really get to see things. So I'm gonna turn down my AC because it's getting freaking hot in here. So I think my ring light's getting me warm. What do you want, Cassie? Okay, here you can have that one. You want that one too? Yeah, there you go. And so give yourself permission to have your boundaries, no matter what they are, no matter what people tell you about that boundary. How many of you before in chat have ever come to a point in life that you tell someone what your boundary is? Whether it's them going against your boundary or you just letting them know what your boundaries are. And they kind of give you this feeling like you don't have a right to have that boundary. Oh, hell yes, you do have that right to have any boundary you want. The boundaries you are putting in place, hopefully, now there are such thing as good boundaries and bad boundaries. Okay, a good boundary should be there, truthfully, to help you be a stronger person. It should be there to help you, okay, with your own emotion, find things. It is not for an escape. When I talk about myself, bad boundaries, I have found times that I have used boundaries as a way to escape something I didn't want to have to deal with it. So I would use it as an escape rather than just dealing with the issue at hand. It was just easier to put a boundary in place so I would not have to address the issue. To me, just my own personal thoughts, that's not necessarily the right way to use a boundary. A boundary should not be being used as an escape for you. A boundary is more or less a way of making sure that you are treating yourself in the way you need to be treated. And yes, there's times that you might need to do something, not necessarily to escape, but because you're not in the right place frame of mind then. But at some point you need to come back. We can't hide most of our lives. See, that's the problem that I've done a lot of my life is I've hidden a lot of my life. Okay, I hid from whatever happened okay, when I was younger, I hid from this, I hid from that. No, at some point you have to address things in life. That's but you got to be ready for it too. Honestly, you have to be ready for it. Crystal, find yourself breaking your own boundaries, and that's a lot of it. And that's fine. If you break your own boundaries, you're recognizing it though. And then you fix that and you put it in place and you figure out, is this the right boundary for me? Okay. Are you breaking it and hurting yourself in the end? Or are you breaking it and figuring out, oh, wait, I have new skills now. I don't necessarily need that boundary in place anymore because I've learned how to deal with whatever is coming my way. And so you don't have to do anything in life that you don't want to do. Okay. We have choices on how we act. No one forces us to do anything. Okay. A lot of times we will sit there and we will say, oh, so and so made me do this, or so and so did. No, 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 no. Okay. Yeah. You may have been at a place where you really kind of felt like the options in front of you really kind of you had no choice but to go in that direction. Okay. But you still made the decision in the end. And once we realize that we are allowed to make our own decisions, we are allowed to make our own decisions about how we respond to things, how we decide, okay, I'm going to address this, but I'm not going to address this. I'm going to be friends with this person. I'm going to take care of my family today and take a day off. I'm going to do whatever it is. We have those rights. We are allowed. And it's the same with boundaries. You are allowed to have those boundaries. Okay. Just figuring out and accepting. Okay. It could be something as small as accepting a friend request. Okay. A lot of times when we come on the internet, we get into this thing that we feel like we have to accept every single friend request that comes through. I don't know about you guys. I was that way at the beginning. I literally felt like, okay, I know this person. I should probably accept their friend request. No, it's up to you if you want to. It's up to you whether you want to. Do you want to have your friends accept every single friend request that's out there, or do you just want to accept certain people? You have that decision. Okay. You can decide who you want to talk to at any time of the day. You can decide, you know what? Yes, I'm on. Facebook Messenger may say that I'm on right now, but I'm in the middle of work right now. I have to, my boundaries are I have to focus on work. I can't just, because so many of us, the speed on social media is so quick. Everything's immediate. Okay. People expect immediate responses and things like that. No, it's okay. It's okay to say, no, no, that's not what I want to do right now. And so give yourself permission to have those boundaries. Again, as long as your boundary is not hurting someone else, and by hurting people, I mean hurting them. Okay, yes, sometimes our boundaries are going to hurt someone's okay feelings or something like that. That is going to happen. Okay, but you know what? You're also trying to protect yourself. And Siren is saying, no one forces you to interact with anyone. Exactly. Supporting doesn't mean I have to interact with people who've treated me badly. So shut those. Exactly. Exactly. And that's it. I mean, I interact with people, I support people. We all have our ways of doing, and each of us have different definitions behind those words. That's the other thing. And we're going to kind of get into all that. Crystal, OMG loco. It's like when the kids go through each other's pages and friend everybody there just to have more. Yes. And that's how I was at the beginning. Now I'm like, oh, okay, I don't necessarily have to do that. I can just pick and choose. And there are some people I'll say no to. Usually not that many, but that's just me. Okay, but that's me and how I set up my stuff. My brother, on the other hand, totally different. Different set of boundaries there. And so the next thing I would ask you to ask yourself is, why are you on social media? Okay. You know what, AJ, and those are the things when you've got, and we'll kind of go through some of those things because it's your choice how you respond. And that's the thing too. We have a choice as to how we respond or how we choose not to respond. And each of us have a different way of dealing with that. Me personally, I don't give people the time. Why would I give them time out of my day if I don't want to deal with them? And but that's me. Everyone has a different way of dealing with things. So the next question would be, why are you on social media? That's going to, okay, your purpose on social media, what social media is doing for you is going to help you figure out what those boundaries are. Okay, when it comes to sharing things, things like that. Are you on social media to keep in touch with friends? Are you there to network as part of work? Are you there to create a new group of friends? Are you there to learn stuff? Sounds good, butterfly kisses. Okay, why are you on social media? Okay, your purpose will. Hi. What? She's sitting here scratching my arm. It's hard to pay attention when you're doing that. And your purpose is going to dictate how you use social media. Hey, cat mama, how you doing? Yes, ultimatums can become boundaries too. Exactly. Exactly. And it's recognizing both sides may then have their own set of boundaries. And how are we going to deal with that becomes a different issue too. Okay. So your purpose will decide. Are you going to have an open profile? Are you going to do a closed profile? How many connections are you going to create? Okay, how much are you using your real name? Are you not using your real name? All sorts of things that are going to pop up out of that. Okay. So those are the two. I'm going to kind of stop there with the more like using of the internet and kind of switch over to the types of boundaries I think most of us are thinking about, which is communication, dealing with other people, things like that. Right. So moving to that, the first thing a lot of times our boundaries are going to be connected to is time. Okay. The internet, I don't know about you guys. The internet for me, social media for me, YouTube, Instagram, X, well, Twitter, formerly known as X, and is like this black hole. It's this, for those of you who do true crime, it's like this rabbit hole. You open up, okay, one of those apps in the morning, and you are there 4 hours later when all you literally wanted to do was check one video or check one comment. Okay, 4 hours later, you're still there. Okay, our social media connections, our social media relationships, and all that very often require some level of boundary involving time. Okay, we've got to look at things. Lone Wolf, I'm on social media as part of your therapy to learn how to socialize. Perfect. Thank you for sharing that, actually, Lone Wolf, because that's a perfect example of how, okay, different people's reasons for being on their purpose. Okay. And it helps them figure out where to go. Yeah, Crystal, it's a rabbit hole. It's a freaking rabbit hole when you come down here. And what's important for us to recognize very quickly is that we need to be able to balance things. Hey, Rowdy, welcome, my dear. And we need to find ways to balance things. So, how do you balance the expectations? Okay, we know, for example, okay, you open up Facebook Messenger or Discord or whatever, and you have the expectations on timely responses. I know I feel horrible because I come on to not Messenger, Discord, and realize I haven't responded to someone in like a day, and I'm like, oh shit, that's horrible. And it is horrible. Okay. But you get into these things. Facebook Messenger, even worse. You pop up, you get these little comments up popping up and all. Well, where are your boundaries for responding to things? Do you have to respond right away? Some people expect that. Some friends expect that, and they need to know. If you are not going to be responding right away, they need to know, hey, the days are going to happen that I don't respond for a couple hours, or God forbid you forget about chat, Robbie. Exactly, story of your life. And everyone's like, "Why haven't? Are you mad?" And I'm guilty of this. I've done this a couple times to a couple of you guys. Are you mad at me? You haven't responded to me yet, and yet I'm just as bad. And people have done that to me too. Chuck Van, I love you. I love you. I love you, man. Ooh, cleaning the house. Hope you're well, I'd say hope you're having fun, but cleaning the house and that, yeah, that doesn't go quite together. As you can see, I have all my diamond painting stuff sitting over there. So that was your why above. Bingo, bingo. And then the other side of the time and all is the personal side. How many of you guys have ever put a one in chat if you've ever gotten into a fight with a significant other, a family member, a 3D or IRL friend over your time on the internet? Okay. You guys, I'm like 5 million ones. Mom and I have had. Porky mom, how you doing, my dear? Mwah. Welcome, welcome, and Chica too. Hey, Chica, and oh well, welcome, welcome. Yep, every Friday we try to do this. I missed it last Friday. I wasn't feeling good, but I'm back. And then we'll be back in an hour and a half for Cantina, and that is as long as no drama, fun, fun, fun night. Okay, just anything goes as long as no drama. So ones, yep. Robbie's got the ones. Crystola's got the ones. I got the ones. Yeah, my mom and I have had knockout fights over how much time I have spent on the internet before. And sorry, Kay. And yeah, exactly. Put a one in chat if you have found yourself getting into a fight with a significant other, family member, whatever, over the time that you spend on the internet. Okay. Or on social media. Okay. I know a lot of people have because I know I've had discussions with a lot of people. And he ended up joining you. Yes. I love you too. Emu and Van Lucky. There's the ones. Yeah, that's the other side of the time thing. Yes, we not only have our friends and family, okay, friends online who want us to respond right away, but we have our significant others. We've got our family members. We've got everything else who are like, well, why do I not get any time with you anymore? Do I not matter? Hey, Hope, welcome, my dear. Welcome, welcome. Happy Aloha Friday. Um, so set those boundaries about the time. Okay. Realizing, you know what? It's okay if you don't answer someone's message within 15 minutes of it being sent. You don't have to feel horrible about it if you don't respond right away, as long as you do respond at some time. Okay, the same way, set times that you can actually spend with your significant other. I used to back, okay, when I used to work in facilities rather than the consultant lifestyle like I do now. Okay, I used to actually schedule family time. I literally had to get to that point in my life because I was working 60-hour work weeks, and I would have, then I had shows I was doing on top of it and all these things going on. And I finally realized I need to actually schedule time with my family. I need to schedule time with my friends. That's why I tried on Saturdays, have game day. If I'm not doing a show or something, I do game day. Um, If you have to get to that, you have to get to that. If you have to open up your Google Calendar or whatever and put yourself in 30 minutes of family time with your with your kids and your significant other, then do that. Same way. If you find yourself trying to find that balance with people online and your friendships online, because guys, I'm sorry, people who say you cannot have real friends online, I don't agree with them. Some of my closest friends are in this chat. Okay, I have real friendships off of this. And the same way, I need to spend time with them. But if I don't do it, then how can I do it? Well, you know what? Schedule that down. If you need to schedule down that you're finding yourself having a hard time finding that middle ground, schedule yourself 15 minutes twice a day where you can go and answer comments or whatever. Okay, find ways, 30 minutes, whatever it is that you need for yourself. But know it's okay to schedule that time. We know that the internet runs on super fast time, right? Everything, the speed of everything on the internet is super fast. Nothing happens over, your real life IRL friends. A lot of our relationships and our friendships tend to happen over days, okay? You'll be planning to go out and do something, and it might take a couple hours or a couple days or something to coordinate stuff. Yet everything online happens like boom right away. Okay, if you get down to it, everything's fast here. Internet relationships, whether that be romantic relationships or just friendships, move even faster. Okay, how quickly have we have you found yourself going from saying hi to someone and then 4 or 5 days later feeling like you know everything about that person? Well, chances are you don't know everything about that person, but in the amount of time that you've talked with them on Messenger or email or whatever, all of a sudden now you feel like you've known this person for most of your life. You consider them a friend, where in real life, you probably would not be that close of a friend that quickly. But online, we do that. And we do that very, very quickly online. Okay. And this is where I kind of go towards what I was saying earlier at the beginning of this life. That's how you married your husband by accident. Oh my God. And what I was saying earlier about takes 6 to 9 months to really get someone. And that's not just me talking. In researching a lot of this today, that popped up in conversation. Okay, a lot of the things I was reading, that it takes 6 to 9 months to truly get to know someone. Okay, and it takes sloop up. You swap phone numbers, talk for like 2 weeks straight, and you know what? I've actually, yeah, no, I've had some friendships that move that quickly. They really did. And with the internet, definitely. But let me ask you this. How much did you actually know about? How many surprises came a couple months later or stuff like that? And it also depends on the amount that you talk with them and things like that and how open and honest they are. A lot of people online are only going to let you see what they want to see, especially in those first couple weeks, that first month. They're only going to let you see who they want you to see. It's like Facebook or Twitter, where all you're seeing are these pictures of this wonderful life and stuff like that that they have. And however, over time, you start seeing the behaviors. You start to see the inconsistencies. They may give you the feeling and tell you, oh, yeah, this is who I am and all this stuff. And then over time, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not okay. Okay. That might be who you think you are, but that's nothing like you're portraying yourself as someone who doesn't quite match. And some people are very much like they are. Yeah, yes, Robbie, you need boundaries. Well, you can. Okay, kind of contour, things like that. That works too for nice. Okay, never mind. And also, so it's important to recognize that. It's important when you're creating the friendships. I'm not saying don't create the friendships. Like I said, the friendships are there. They're real friendships. I have known a couple of you guys here for 3+ years now. Okay, and I consider you very close friends. And but not all people, okay, you can't just jump to that friendship, and you've got to be aware of it, because I'll be honest, there is a lot of games being played and stuff like that. It happens. Okay, so make sure you recognize the speed of the internet. Make sure you are not using your rose colored glasses as you're developing things. Oh, I don't need to have boundaries with that person. I know I just started talking with them a week ago, but I mean, I feel like we've known each other our whole lives now, and I'm telling them all of my deepest, darkest secrets. They now know where I live. They know all these other things. And all of a sudden later on, you're like, oh shit. And so make sure you're okay with those boundaries. And you guys are cracking me up in chat, guys. Oh my God. It's going to be a fun canteen. I can tell it already. Uh huh. Okay, so take your time. It's okay. Yeah, fake people. Christola, thank you for giving me the word. Yeah, be aware there are fake people out there. And not everyone's meaning to be fake, they're real. Okay, not everyone is wonderful. We all have our negative bits and pieces. Every single one of us do. And also recognizing that. So, next thing when it comes to the boundary issue is when we are talking to people. Okay, when we're, whether it's Facebook comments, whether it's in the comment section of a video, community tabs, all sorts of stuff, know that it's okay. It's okay to ask for clarification. And it's okay for other people to ask for clarification too. And love you, unknown female. And a lot of times I think we see clarifications. I don't know about you, but I do this. I do this. I have to watch it at times, because a lot of times I feel if someone asks to clarify something I say, sometimes I take it personally. And but what I forget is communication is written, verbal, and behavioral. The problem comes when you see a comment in a, okay, Discord thread or something like that. Okay, Facebook Messenger, Facebook comments, whatever. You are seeing a written communication. Even if it's something like Facebook Messenger, okay, you are seeing something as it's written. You're forgetting about the verbal and the behavioral. Okay, body language. You're forgetting about, okay, if Rosaline was in chat right now, okay, domestication, how people see things. We all see things differently based off of how we were raised. And also, it's important to know it's okay to ask for clarification on what was written. Okay, it's okay to say to someone, so I was reading your comment, and my understanding is this is what you meant. I'm not sure if I'm correct or not. I just wanted to check that with you. Is that what you meant? How many times do we all get in arguments, okay, publicly or even just in our head? Okay, and we take something badly because we are seeing things from our place in time, from our perception, the way we see things, and we don't necessarily know where the other person is coming. Yeah, they may be being an asshole, very well maybe being a asshole, but not always. And also asking for that clarification. That was one of the hardest boundaries that I had coming on to social media, because it was such an issue for me. at the beginning. And now I'm getting much better about it. Maybe that's why if you guys ever see comments that I leave on threads and stuff, I do super freaking long comments and yes, Seal, exactly. You just hit it on the head. Emojis help. Guys, seriously, those of you who've talked to me privately, how many times do you see a happy face or a heart at the end of my comments? And I literally will do that because I'm like, I don't want them to think I'm mad at them. So I'll put a smiley face at the end of the comment or something like that. Okay, you never know. Yeah, Cristola, well put. When something is written, you don't hear the tone. You don't hear whether it's sarcasm or a joke or something else. Oh, Morky, I love you, my dear. Love you. Thank you, my dear. And so, yeah, and some people do take things very seriously, Seal. And it's not it's not their fault or anything like that. It's many times it comes back to domestication, how they were raised. And again, remembering we can't change others. We can't change others. I wish we could change others. Oh my gosh, I would do anything in the world if I could keep my Harry Potter magic wand that is in that closet right now here on my desk. And every time something pops up that I don't like or I don't understand here, pull it out and do a Wingardium Leviosa or something like that and change people's thought process here. Oh my God, I wish I could do that, but I can't. People have different ways of approaching things, and I have to be okay with that. I have to realize I can't change them, but I can change the way I respond to it. And that's the hard part because sometimes having to change the way you respond to things also requires the other person to be able to understand where you're coming from. And if they're not willing to do that, then you know what? You can only do what you can do. And that's the hard part. You'd love to be able to say, listen to me, don't you understand? I'm doing this for, oh my God, I'd love to do something like that. But some people are never going to get it. They're never going to get it. And you either just keep focusing on it and getting frustrated and let it get you to the point where you're pulling out your hair and all sorts of stuff, or you just say, fuck it. Excuse my language, but can't do anything about that. So, no, it's okay to ask for clarification before you make decisions on things. And they may get upset, they may not, but at least you're trying to clarify things. Okay. Now, in the other hand, there, make sure you let them know how you feel. Okay. Guys, how many Sleuth Mom said, I read everyone's text in their voice. That's smart. That's smart. If you guys do that also, for example, Seal's messages are always super Southern, so you have to realize that in the South, things mean different. That's a great idea. Sleuth, that is freaking a good idea because that's true. It is true. I think I've told some of you guys this. I remember I had a really super freaking good friend. One of my first online friends, okay, like 15, 20 years ago, back when I was on my Delphi Survivor Forum days. And she and I were the best friends. She even came out here and all that. And she was a nanny. And I remember I used to call kids twerps. I'm like, oh my gosh, how are the twerps doing today and stuff like that. And I use that word. I used to teach. I called kids twerps. It was a term of endearment for me. She was from Wales. That was no term of endearment for her. That was actually a very negative comment. And I had to learn very quickly when she did because I noticed she was never responding to me when I would say that. And then one day she told me and I was like, oh, jeez, I did not know that I was actually saying something pretty bad by calling kids a twerp. And so I learned it's like some people, if you say shut up, it's a bad word. Okay, you guys might remember those types of things. Those are the things we need to know. So, yeah, K Crochet, that really taught me something. When I learned that, that really taught me. Okay. So is Cooter, don't tell her what it means everywhere. And, so let other others know how you feel. So, in the same way that you're going to ask for clarifications, it's okay to have boundaries where your boundary is, I'm going to be telling people how, because boundaries aren't always about what I'm not going to do or what I don't want people to do. Sometimes your boundaries are about expectations you have of people. My boundaries, okay, include the expectation that people will come to me if they hear something shitty about me, or if they hear a rumor about me. I wish they would come to me and ask me what the hell's going on rather than just believing it, for example. That would be a boundary of mine that's not necessarily about no, but yes. And so in this case, that boundary is, I want people to know how I feel about something in the same way thing. Crystal, twerp, twerp. It was just more of a negative comment about children. So, and this was back in the early 2000s, but calling a child a twerp was actually a very negative comment about them rather than, I saw it as a term of endearment. So, yeah. So, I would want people in this case to let me know if they see something I write and it upsets them. I want them to come to me and tell me things. In the same way, if I see something someone has said and it's upset me, I'm going to go to them and say, hey, you know what? I saw something you wrote the other day, and it's really kind of pissing me off. And I'm not sure if it's because of how I read it, misunderstood it. I don't know what, but I need you to know right now something in the way it was written is upsetting me right now. Crazy mama, how you doing, my dear? Aloha, my dear. Love ya. Mwah. And so having that thing, because so many times we hold these things inside. Okay. I have always been the queen of holding things inside, letting them brew, letting them build until I blow up. And when I blow up, you don't want to be within 1,000 miles of me when I blow up. Trust me. Okay. So I'm learning, if I tell someone this is really upsetting me, they can understand that maybe it's a word that they don't realize that I'm taking it that way. Okay, or maybe they meant it that way, and I need to know there's something going on here. Okay, and it's a passive aggressive comment or something like that. Okay, but we need to talk. Now, when we need to talk, I am going to say this, gang, because I see this way too much on the internet. Do it in private. Guys, oh, it's very, very same for you, Chica. There you go. And yeah, thinking of it this way, okay, gang, a lot of times it's very easy for us to remember, very easy for us to forget that when we're responding to someone in a comment, in a thread, okay, it is lone wolf, exactly. Hey, Oscar, hello, hello, Oscar. And so a lot of times we get to this thing where we're reading a thread and we comment in that thread and we think we're responding to one person, but it's not. It's actually about a whole bunch of people. And sometimes the person we're talking to knows there's a bunch of other people around. So that's going to raise their emotions. And we get into this back and forth and type things. So the first thing I think all of us can learn is talk to people privately. Okay. It can be through DM, it can be through a phone message, it can be through whatever. But doing it privately, it also allows you to really explain why you're feeling that, because it's kind of hard when you get into this back and forth and comments or community tabs or whatever. All it's doing is it's creating a way of, oh, let's see what other people are saying, and then it loses its privacy, and there's respect in privacy. Okay, at least that's the way I see it a lot of times. Okay, when someone comes to me privately about something, it shows me that they respect my ability to talk with them about it. And so just to, yeah, they can be very, very, and crazy mama, that's one of the issues that I think a lot of us deal with, and all of us have been on both sides of it. Okay. Only thing we can do at this point is, like I keep saying, we can't change other people, but what can we do for ourselves? And that's what, for example, I'm trying to find ways to do things. And it's hard because I miss certain hanging out with things and all that. And I'm like, okay, I got to do this or do that or whatever, just to try to become the person that I need to with my own boundaries in place. So, one of the things you can ask for yourself when you're wanting to talk to someone, and this is what I've been trying to do more lately, is how would you respond to that in real life? If it's a comment that's upsetting you, if it's whatever it is that's upsetting you, okay, how would you respond in real life about something? I think a lot of us recognize a lot of times that the way we respond in real life is different than the way we respond on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, or Twitter. Huge difference in how we respond. If we started responding to things more like we do in real life, then we're kind of coming back to what those boundaries are. Okay, in real life, we would probably never do half of what is done on social media. And K Crochet, my roots from UK. I watch BBC. My more Americanized mom heard, yes, the word FAG, which means a cigarette in the UK, but here it's a totally different thing. Yes, exactly. Um, we tend to forget. So with this one, it's recognizing that taking things private does make a huge difference. Okay, it's also understanding that many times people misunderstand intention, they forget perception, okay, others and ourselves. So when we're looking at our boundaries, okay, when we're looking at how we're interacting with things, it's important to understand the intention behind someone's action as well as how they are perceiving that action. And that's easier to do in private, okay, because a lot of times when you're publicly discussing things, it's more about being on the defense, okay, rather than the actual discussion that can go back and forth on trying to understand why people are coming from where they are. And also understanding that makes all the difference because, guys, perception is really where it's at. How many times there are people out there, okay, that okay, have had problems with me in the past. And I know it comes down to perception. And unfortunately, perception is 100% of what a person sees. Okay, a lot of times we don't see outside of what it is we perceive, how we see someone based off of how we grew up, okay, what happened to us, what we deal with, all sorts of things. Hope, I wish my mouth had more boundaries. My brain has a direct line from sarcastic side to the voice line. There you go. There you go. The next one I was going to mention, and this kind of gets into some of the stuff people were asking earlier. There's something called the three strikes and you're out rule. It's in a lot of different areas of life, whether it be, okay, in the legal system, okay, baseball, you name it, three strikes, you're out is everywhere. Okay. Well, we can utilize that ourselves here. Okay. Three strikes, they're out. Okay. Give someone three chances to understand and to change their behavior. Because, guys, no one learns something just like that. None of us. Okay, someone may come to me and say, you know what, loco, please don't call someone a twerp. Okay. And it's so in my brain that I'm going to screw up and I'm going to do it, but I'm going to start trying to change things. I'm going to try. I'm going to try. Okay. You do that with your kids' van. See, it's important because we are learning. And no, we're all going to make mistakes. And that's important to understand. People will make mistakes, but as long as you're seeing the change, and that's me, I give more than 3 strikes, to be honest, as long as I see progression. If I see someone who's going longer and longer and longer in between those times and trying to make those change, I'll keep giving them. But some people, maybe you stick to just 3 strikes and you're out. Okay. Maybe give them one of your boundaries. Okay. And you ask them, please don't use that term with me. Okay. Please do not respond to me about this issue. Don't try to pull me into this. Don't try to do this or whatever. And give them the chance to learn. Okay. And then if they get to the point where you're like, they're not learning, they're not learning. I keep trying to give it to them and they're not going to learn it. That's when you make a decision to take an action to limit your contact with them. Okay. It's not about, hey, Anitra, how you doing? You're here listening. I'm feeling depressed. I'm sorry and anxious. And that's, oh, wow. I am so sorry, hun. Serious problems with your disability. Oh, God. And Anitra, what you just said, I was talking with someone else who was in this chat a little while ago about it. Sometimes it's just knowing that you're not alone. A lot of us have our own ways of dealing with things. We feel alone a lot of times. So, yeah, no, please come hang out with us, my dear. Come hang out with us. You're never alone. And so love you, my dear. So you get to that point, the 3 strikes, limit the contact. Some people will decide, oh, 3 strikes, they're out. Okay, now I'm going to go full force. I'm going to attack them and I'm going to go this. I'm going to destroy them. Okay. And it turns about into World War III, right? Yet, I'd like to suggest limit the contact because, again, can you change that person? No, you just gave them 3 chances. You hoped that you would change them with those 3 chances, and it's not getting anywhere. Okay, so you've kind of already proven to yourself that you can't change them. So fighting with them is not going to change them, right? You just tried. It didn't work. So instead, limit their contact with you. Okay. Limit the ability for it to continue going on, for them to keep going against your boundary that you placed. Don't give them the chance to break through your boundary. Just limit the amount. Now, limiting might mean a complete blocking. It might be a thickening of that boundary wall. Okay, for example, me, I have a hard time cutting anyone. Those of you who know me know that. I really have a hard time cutting anyone out of my life, no matter what. That's just me. But what I'll do is I'll thicken that wall between us. Okay, and I'll make sure my boundaries are in place. That's my chance to work on making sure my boundaries are strong. Okay, because my boundary is I can't do this. Well, if they're going to break through, then I need to make sure I'm giving us more distance. So I find myself limiting that more. And there are ways of doing it. Those are things we can all talk about. Okay, if people are wondering of ways, hey, send me a message. I don't mind giving you guys ideas. Come to Discord. We can talk about ways different people have done it. Only thing I ask is we don't use people's names because remember, when we're dealing with these things, we're dealing with our response to what's happening. Okay, not the other person's part in what's going on. So that's just one heads up for Discord because I know that can get confusing at times because yes, it takes 2 to tango. But when you're trying to make changes, you can only make changes for yourself. And so next, and give others the benefit of a doubt. Okay, guys, I kind of addressed this. Different people see things differently. Okay, we all come from different backgrounds, we have different personalities. Okay, I come from Hawaii. The Hawaiian culture, the culture of all of us is very Asian here. Okay, I've got a very, very Asian thought process when it comes to how I treat others and how I expect to be treated back. Okay, someone from New York is going to react differently than I am. Okay. I had a family member who moved to New York and they're like, oh my God, what the hell is going on here? Totally different. Give other people the bit. No, you're not going to let them run through your boundary over and over and over. But when you're trying to understand what's going on, understand there's so much more going on out there. Everyone does not see life the way we see life. Okay, I mean, it'd be a very boring world and make life easier, but it'd be also a very boring world if we were all the same. And so understand that communication, understanding why the person thinks the way they are, even someone who comes from the same household. We talked about this a few weeks ago, where you have multiple children and dad passed away at a certain age, and the children are all going to react to that differently based off of the age they were when the house became a single parent household. So all of us have different ways of looking at things, and recognizing that is important. So honor your feelings, your comfort level. Okay, again, boundaries are about you. Boundaries are about you. Boundaries are about trying to protect yourself, trying to ensure that you're treating yourself the way you would be treating other people. Okay, boundaries are about, if they're not, boundaries are not about attacking other people. Boundaries are not about all those other things. Boundaries are there for you. And so honor your feelings, even when these things are happening. Okay, and you're having to give other people a benefit of the doubt or things like that. Doesn't matter. Your feelings still matter, no matter what. Your feelings matter. Okay, others may come from different places and stuff like that, but you still matter. Whether you're having to deal with anxiety, okay, whether you're dealing with depression, that matters. And you know that more than anyone else. Crazy mama, boundaries is so important. You lost that a while back, but yep, more and more. And that's it. And each, our boundaries change over life, I found. Okay, my boundaries change. Okay, it's like different people, different things. Blocking people, for example. I choose not to block people usually in life. I don't block people. But that's because I'm trying to teach myself skills of how to ignore someone that is giving me problems. That's what I'm trying to do. Doesn't mean I won't block people. I will, and I have, but I'm trying to not use blocking, the boundary of blocking someone, okay, as a way to not change my own behaviors. So, but that's different for everyone. Someone else may need to block people because their focus of what they're trying to change for themselves is at a different place right now, and they need to focus, or maybe they're dealing with really bad anxiety or depression right now and need to do it that way. But they take control of their own mental health. That is their job, is to take care of their own. Okay. One of the things, and I'm going to finish this up with this. Okay. There is a PA. Yep. You have to figure out what works for you and do what works for you. Exactly, crazy mama. Dana Giunta is a PhD, and I came across this quote in one of the articles I was doing, I was reading. And she said, our words and language tend to come across more powerfully and bluntly. When we just see the written word, it has more of an impact on us psychologically. Um, and I probably should have said this part earlier when we were talking about written word posts, things like that. But it is true. When you see something written, it has a much stronger punch because there are no emotions. Okay. we all talk about how we are our worst critic, right? So if you see something written and you feel like it's attacking, okay, you end up reading it in your own voice. That's why what Sleuth said was so smart. Reading things in that person's voice, because otherwise you're going to read it in your own voice and with your own preconceptions and all that, and you're going to see it much more damaging and damning, actually. Seal, one of my real life boundaries is do not just show up at my door. I need notice if you're going to be. Yes, yes. And that's even okay, like for example, phone calls with me. Okay, I don't talk on phone. Most of you guys who know me, okay, really closely know I don't do phones often. And there's multiple reasons I have for that, even going back to when I was in high school. I was never a phone type person. And but that, yeah. Okay, having the notice, okay, are you free right now? Things like that. If you're gonna have someone show up at your front door, okay, getting that notice. Okay, Seal, the online version is do not show up in my inbox and expect me to answer immediately. I love that. I love that. Okay, yeah, you need and Seal, that's it. See, I'm an introvert. I need a moment to build up that in me. Now, once I get on a call, you can't shut me up. That's my problem. Is I'll go on for 3 or 4 hours. Those of you who have spoken to me know I will go on forever and ever. That's part of my problem. And also, but I am an introvert and I need time to build that energy up. I need to make sure that I have I think it's Louisiana girl who talks about spoons. Okay. You start off the day with so many spoons. And every time you're handing them off when you're having to do stuff with other people, by the end of the day, you may not have any spoons left. And um, so what she said here really made a lot of sense. And this actually, wow, this is great. Actually, Seal, the way you just kind of mentioned that there kind of fits in with my next thing because I was going to kind of, you're spoony. There you go, Chica. I know I had never heard the spoon thing till I came to YouTube and I'm like, wow, that makes so much sense. Consider boundaries, okay, and things like, okay, treating your online presence how you would treat people coming to your house for a get together. Okay. Okay, we'll do Cristola. When someone comes over to your house, okay, and you've got a bunch of people, it's game night, it's party night, whatever it is, and if someone starts attacking someone in there, how would you respond to that? If a friend says something in the middle of a party that upsets you, how would you respond to that? Can you respond the same way online when you're in a live and someone does something? Or if you see a post or something like that, could you see that metaphor and try to respond the same way? And when I came across that thought process, I was like, yeah, because I do treat it differently. I do actually treat it differently. I tend to, yeah, everything has to be right now, right now, right now with the internet. No, no, in real life, it never would be right now. I would respond differently out here. And so with that, we are done with our discussions on online boundaries, unless you guys have some more thoughts and all, we can continue talking about thoughts. We will have Cantina actually in 42 minutes from now. As soon as this is over, it should send you directly over to Cantina. For those of you who have never been to Cantina, consider coming over. It's a lot of fun. We just sit and talk. It gets crazy. Yeah, it gets crazy. We can go from crying and dealing with emotional stuff to having a full force, crazy, raucous time, put it that way. So, yeah. And, but any takeaways for today? Anything that you are going to work on over the next week? Anything that you're going to, as we finish up today, be like, yeah, that's something for me. That's something I need to take a look at. I know with me, a lot of mine is recognizing that it's okay to have a boundary where I don't respond right away, that I can balance. It's okay to be able to balance real life and YouTube. or real life and Facebook, mostly YouTube. But yeah, you know what I mean. That's where I tend to come from. And the other is actually talking with people and not just jumping to things. Okay, really trying to figure things out on that level. That's one of my takeaways that I'm going with. But other than that, I got things ready. We've got some stickers I'm going to work on during the next thing. We've got Lilo and Stitch and Iron Man. Yes, okay, sorry. But so I will see y'all in 40 minutes, and I'm going to go grab myself something to eat, get some dinner and all, and then we'll just have some fun. I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight. Chica, I'm happy. If you guys have any thoughts of subjects, because I know some days are more interesting than others. I know you guys tend to like more of the things specific to YouTube. I've noticed that from views and all that. But I want these lives to be stuff that help people, because usually I find out no matter what, it's something I can learn from. But I'd love to be able to hear what other people want to learn from. So, cantina time it is. I can't wait for cantina time. I missed it last week, and in a few weeks, I'm going to be going into rehearsals for Minx and Savage, the show that I'm going to be ADing for. So, we need to have some fun tonight, and that's all there is to it. So, see you guys in 39 minutes. Aloha, mahalo, and I will talk to y'all soon. Aloha, gang.